Since Earth formation 4 billion years ago, volcanoes have played a big part in reshaping the landmarks. Hot spots where magma reached the surface created much of the land on Earth in its early years. These 10 are the largest volcanic eruptions due to info gathered from various sites linked in description. Like, share and subscribe if you haven't already. The eruption of Mount Hudson ejected 2.7 cubic kilometers of dense rock as mud flows. Ash fell over an area of about 150,000 square kilometers in Chile and Argentina. The ash fall caused house roofs to collapse, buried roads, and contaminated water supplies. The eruption was the second largest historic volcanic eruption recorded in Chile. On 18th May, Mount St. Helens became active with a major explosive eruption. It was preceded by a series of earthquakes. At least 57 people died, 200 homes, 47 bridges, 26 kilometers of railways, and 298 kilometers of highway were destroyed. The eruption has been considered the most disastrous volcanic eruption in U.S. history. On 10th April, Quizapu erupted, releasing a huge ash cloud into the atmosphere. Along with 9.5 cubic kilometers of lava, at least one eruptive period lasted for 18 hours, eruption columns extending 30 kilometers into the air. Since the eruption of 1932, Quizapu has been quiet. On 28 March, El Chichon erupted after laying dormant for 600 years. The volcano erupted 3 times in a week. The eruptions were devastating. 2,000 people lost their lives as a result of pyroclastic flow and huge amounts of sulfur dioxide that were released into the atmosphere. On 15 January, the underwater volcano Hungatonga Hunga Ha Pai erupted. Seawater that came into contact with the magma caused 50 million tons of water vapor into the atmosphere. The eruption ripped the whole island apart, generating a huge column of ash that reached 20 kilometers in the sky and led to a massive tsunami across the Pacific Ocean. The catastrophic eruption of Pinatubo ejected more than 5 cubic kilometers of debris into the air, plus sulfur dioxide particles which were spread around by air currents. Mount Pinatubo is a part of a volcanic arc created along a subduction zone where the Philippine and Eurasian plates meet. Several large earthquakes led to the eruption of the Santa Maria volcano in 1902. It resulted in over 8,000 deaths and ejected 8 cubic kilometers of magma. After the blast, the volcano lay dormant for 20 years until new eruptions began in 1922. In 1883, Krakatoa erupted violently and loudly that it was heard in Perth, Australia, over 3,000 kilometers away. So great it was that the explosion created a tsunami which killed about 36,000 people. 5 cubic miles of debris flew about 70 miles into the air, blocking the sun for over 2 days. On 5th April, Mount Tambora erupted, almost 36 cubic miles of ash rock and gases, including almost 60 megatons of sulfur, into the atmosphere. The explosion was the largest ever recorded by humans. The amount of high quantities of ash and gases spewed out into the atmosphere was enough to block out the sun for a week. Yellowstone is an active volcano, although it hasn't erupted in recent recorded history. However, it had 3 magnitude 8 eruptions as far back as 2.1 million years ago, 1.2 million years ago, and most recently 640,000 years ago. The recent violent eruption created a caldera 1,350 square feet wide.